know where there's some. Right here in the hall clerk.
No, Molly, not in there. I have
Hello and welcome back to this GE 514 clock radio. I haven't been on it for a long time. I apologize for that, but I finally got back to it. So I thought I'd recap what the radio had been touched. You might recall that the power output tube had been swapped. This was what was in there. This is a 50B5, which should go in here as a 50C5. 50C5 and 50B5 are virtually the same tube with a slightly different pinout, but it was kind of sloppily done, and I had a 50C5 on hand that was perfectly fine. So what I did was replaced somebody had rewired this to support the 50B5. I put it back to its original 50C5 configuration so that it fits the schematic as it came out of the factory. All the caps are replaced. Quite a few of the resistors, more of the resistors than I thought, but these old carbon comps drift high, and some of them had. What else? Restuffed, just for my own amusement, I did restuff the filter caps. This has a couple of modern caps inside of it, but it looks like the old one. I'll put a note with this radio when I wrap it up, saying that's been restuffed, even though it looks like an old Planet electrolytic capacitor. Two caps were replaced with safety caps. This radio has a signal ground with a capacitor running this 0.05 right here. Let me get this closer. 0.05 right here. It's a signal ground from the AVC bus, and then from signal ground to chassis ground with another 0.05. Both of those were, both of those weren't replaced. This one was replaced, the C4, the one that runs from the B- bus to chassis ground, and the C10, 0.047, that runs from the plate of the rectifier to ground, to chassis ground. To the negative, to chassis ground, has been replaced with a safety cap. So these two were replaced with safety caps. I've been thinking about this is a 1952, as I recall, radio, and I've been thinking about the overvoltage, modern voltage. Here in the Northwest, we got a lot of power, and it's usually running at about 125, 127 volts. RMS. This was built for 115 max. I've been thinking about putting a voltage dropping device in there. On the other hand, this is even in its current reconditioned state, it's a $50 radio, so it's not worth much. So I think I'll pass on that, and I declare it done. I declare the radio chassis done. I'll have to make as I said, I'll have to make a note indicating that I did put the 50C5 back in. Pardon the little tapes. They help me remember what tube goes where. Volume. Oh, there's one other minor problem with it that I am also not going to correct, and that is that this volume potentiometer doesn't quite go to zero. It goes to about 150 volts, or 150 ohms. And a little bit of voltage, a little bit of audio leaks out of this thing all the time. It's not annoying, and you turn it up to hear it anyway. So it's down at a very low level, but I can hear it. This potentiometer, it's 500K audio taper, and it has a longish shaft with a spline on the end. Very hard to find, and probably 20 bucks. And again, for a 30-buck radio, I'm not going to replace that. So whoever gets this next is going to have to live with just a tiny bit of volume leaking out when it's turned all the way down. It's aligned. It's relatively sensitive for an All-American 5. And as I said, I think I'm done with the radio portion. So the chassis will get set aside, and the next thing we'll tackle is the clock. This is the clock for it, and the motor. And this will be an interesting project. I haven't done one of these clocks before. There's a guy, I'll have to get the reference out, but he works on a lot of these clock motors, these clocks, and he's put some great videos up on how to make them work again. So hopefully that will happen, and we'll have this running again. Yeah, I'm excited. So it'll be fun. I have finished up the cabinet. I'll put a separate video up for the cabinet, but the next video you see from me on this GE is the clock. Next time. See you next time. Bye.